So, CBS wins again. Not really, but I'm trying to keep my job after doing that. I had a good weekend this weekend. You know where I went? I went to Toronto, in Canada. Yeah, it's in Canada. I went to Toronto. They have the festival, the Just for Laughs festival. It's a big festival in Canada. They usually have it in Montreal, and they did have it in Montreal, but they had an extra bit in Toronto, and I went to that. Now, the first time I ever did stand-up comedy in the North American continent, gotta be careful, was in Canada at that festival 20 years ago. And I don't really remember it, you know, as I thought. Anyway, it was nice to go back and see Toronto. I love Toronto. Peter Ustinov used to say that Toronto was like New York run by the Swiss, which I think is unfair. Unfair to Toronto, because the Swiss are bastards. I mean, they are with their cheese and their cuckoo clocks and their little army knives. No wonder they're neutral. Who are you going to scare with that little knife? Come here, we will open up your bottles of wine and give you manicures until you beg for mercy. We will convenience you to death. Toronto, that's what I'm talking about. Anyway, Toronto is a great city. It's very cosmopolitan. Every type of restaurant you could think of right there. Because I used to think of Canadian cuisine as this, you know, bacon and syrup, and I'm fine with that. But it was, yeah, I went to, they've got everything. I went to this amazing sushi restaurant. Really very, very good sushi, covered in syrup and a little bit of bacon on the side. Now, you gotta love Canada. And I was staying at this great hotel. It was called the Germain Hotel. Yeah, but the hotel was mobbed with people there for the festival. So I signed under a name that no one would recognize. You know, Craig Ferguson. That tends to keep the people up. You know, when you travel as much as I do, you learn these little hotel tricks, you know. Always use a discreet name. Always leave a space in your bag so you can steal the hotel bathrobe. When the porn shows up on your bill, deny, deny, deny. Always deny. Yes. So, anyway, I'm in Toronto, and I saw this. I'm not kidding you. I saw this show. It was fantastic. Here's what it's called. I'm not kidding. This is not a joke. It was called Evil Dead, the Musical. Zombies that sing and dance like... It doesn't get better than that. It was fantastic. It was like the musical Hairspray, but for straight men. Do you know, by the way, have you seen that poster for the Hairspray movie? Did you get a picture of that poster? Look at that, there's Travolta. Now, that's John Travolta. He's in a big dress, 15 pounds of makeup. Have you ever seen him look happier in his damn life? Look at that again. Look at him. Just living the dream. Anyway, musical theatre's not really my thing. I don't go that often. You know, Tuesdays and Thursdays, that's about it. Anyway. Well, I remember watching the musical Cats and thinking, this is awful. I wish all these characters would die. It's America, I'm allowed to say what I think. Well, in Evil Dead, the musical, right, all the characters die in the first 10 minutes. And then it gets messy. You haven't lived until you've seen a zombie do jazz hands. It's fantastic. With somebody else's hands. I'm telling you, I think a lot of musical theatre would be improved by adding zombies. Oklahoma, where the wind blows. Yeah. Anyway, Evil Dead the musical, there's so much zombie blood flying around. They've got this warning before the show starts. If you're sitting in the first 3 rows, you're going to be covered in blood. So, of course, covered in blood. I was only there for the weekend. That was the only clothes I had. And it's very tricky getting back through customs. You've only been out of the country for 48 hours, and you come back and your clothes are covered in blood. Nothing says hitman like that. So I had to go to an even more scary place, a scarier place than Evil Dead the musical. I went to The Gap. Or as they call it in Canada, Le Gap. You know, they're very bilingual, bi-curious, something. They do that. And it's very I don't like going to the hip clothing stores because all the clerks are very young. All the people who work there are very young. They look at me like, what do you need new clothes for? Nobody cares what you wear, Grandpa. Nobody's going to sleep with you. Why are you buying clothes? And I'm one of these guys that doesn't care much about what I wear, obviously. Well, you reach a certain age when you're a guy and you think, well, these are just going to have to last me for the rest of my life. That's... I'll be wearing these for the next 40 years. All right, we got to go. We're right back. We've got a great show. Drew Carey is here. Megalyn Ichikawoki is here. We'll be right back.
The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson, sponsored by Corona.